Hello, and thank you for joining me for this all levels PRObarre class. We are going to make it very living room friendly, so you can do this at home anytime that you'd like. It's going to be approximately 45 minutes about to get through all of the different movements that we're doing today. We are going to go a timed-based format. Normally we would basically move to the beat of the music, but since we're trying to be able to film these classes and we don't want to conflict with some of the YouTube licensing laws, we'll probably dub some extra music in here, or you can just throw on your own favorite barre playlist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer for myself. It's going to be 1 minute per exercise and then 30 seconds of another exercise. And the goal will be to kind of bring your heart rate up for those 30 seconds and then bring it back down for some of the strength movements for that 1 minute time frame. The equipment that you'll need today is just a nice cushy carpeted room. And if you don't have that, using hardwood floor or tile is fine, as long as you have maybe a yoga mat or even a blanket or a sleeping bag, something that you can kneel on. We don't need it right away as we do some of our standing movements and our warm-up, but eventually you will want to come down to the floor, so you will want to be able to put your hands and knees comfortably on the ground. I'll also give a lot of modifications throughout today's class so that you can comfortably be on your hands for a certain period of time. We are using a very low chair today for a lot of our barre work, so you're welcome to find something higher than this. Ideally, you want the barre about waist height or hip height so that you can just easily have your hand on the barre, but really anything to help you balance. I also have a taller chair over here. I'll use that a little bit for some of our choreography today, but as long as you can comfortably, gently put your hands on a barre or basically something that's still, that's going to support you while you're doing barre. You don't necessarily have to have an actual barre for a great barre class. So what I would like to show you is a couple of options for equipment as well. So again, no real equipment on the floor if you have carpet. And then as far as some weight equipment that you might want to use today, because we want to do a very at-home style workout, you can use some water bottles or canned items, canned food items, as long as they're the same weight, are perfectly fine. These Pro Club water bottles are 1 liter, which equals about 2.2 pounds. So in barre class, we use weights varying from 1 to 3 to 5 pounds. Once we start doing some shoulder work with these water bottles, or with if you have small hand weights at home, you're welcome, of course, to use those, which we would normally use in a barre class. These are going to get heavy really fast. So even though 2 pounds might seem light right now, the goal of barre isn't necessarily to build muscle or to bulk up your muscle. The goal is to create kind of toned, lean, long muscles on your body with lighter dumbbells or lighter weights. So we will use these for our arm work today. I haven't introduced myself just yet, but my name is Staci Alden, and again, this is barre class. So we're going to treat it kind of like a barre intervals class, so that we have that 1 minute on, 30 seconds of another exercise going on throughout the class today. I'm going to start my timer and we're going to give it a roll. We're going to get started. So our first minute is going to be spent just getting used to some of the barre movements. So I want you to bring your hands to your waist, lengthen through the crown of the head, stand up as tall as you can, and squeeze your inner thighs together. Let's bend the knees and then stand up tall. This is called our plie, where we're just bending the knees and we're pretending like we're sliding our back up against a wall. So we want to keep that upright posture. We're trying to feel like a ballerina, and then feel that transverse abdominus, or the waist around your midsection, pull in and up as you continue to breathe in your lungs. Let's do 4 more of these plies, and then we're going to add on to this. So remember, maybe if you can see yourself in a window or a reflection or a mirror, give yourself a look. Make sure that you're standing really tall and your knees are tracking and squeezing together, so you're squeezing those inner thighs. We have 5 more seconds of this. Shoulders are away from the ears. Again, feeling those abdominals squeeze in. Now let's go ahead and add a releve. So we're going to plie, squeeze the legs together. Releve, meaning we lift the heels up off of the floor. But do so with control. So when you lift your heels, you're not letting them just pop over the toes. You're lifting with control. You're feeling the movement through your calf muscle, all the way up your inner thighs. Maybe you can keep your inner thighs and your heels connected. If not, then we can always separate the heels. All right, now we're gonna add in and out with the toes. We're gonna bring the toes in, out, plie, releve. Toes come in, toes come out, plie, releve. Let's add the arms. So let's bring the arms in, out, plie, releve. Arms come in, arms go out, plie, releve. Good. Continue this for about 30 more seconds, and then we'll start to move side to side. Toes in, toes out, plie, releve. Toes in, toes out, plie. And make sure when the toes go in and out, the movement is coming from the hip, not the knees. So your knees are moving as your hips are opening and closing. I missed my plie that time. Toes in, toes out, plie, releve. 15 more seconds. Good, starting to feel those inner thighs working. Toes in, out, plie, releve. Good, 6 more seconds. Bend the knees, stand up tall. Toes in, toes out. All right, we're gonna start stepping side to side now. Let's start with our right leg. So make sure you have enough room to go into second position, knees wide, and then bringing those heels back together. So we're going from second to first position. The second position plie, where we're squatting in that second position, should feel just like when it's in first position. So we're keeping the chest lifted, we're staying tall. You have 3, you have 2, and you have 1. We're gonna hold this second position. Hands come together into what we call prayer position. Squeeze the knees back and hold here for little pulses. Good, getting ready to open the arms. Make sure your knees again are pulling back. Feel the movement working all the way through the back of the outer thighs. And now open the arms, pull the knees back even more. Side bend, reach toward the ceiling, and then bring it back to center. Side bend. As you side bend, try to inhale, feeling the expansion through the lungs. We have 30 more seconds here in that second position. Then we start to step side to side, leading with the left leg this time. Breathing, controlling, pulling the belly in. We have elements of Pilates in barre class. We always want to be thinking about how we're controlling the movement throughout class. Less than 10 seconds. Can you step a little bit lower? We're really getting warm now. This is our warm-up part, and then bring those heels back together. Stepping now with the left leg. So we plie out. You can add those arms. Maybe as you come back in, you squeeze those inner thighs. You get a little lift and a reach with those toes. Stand up really tall at the top. You have 15 more seconds. Smile big for your living room. Last 10 seconds. Good. 5 more seconds. Getting ready for that plie, holding that second position right here. Open out those legs. Hold down low in that second position. Start to reach the arm overhead, back to the side. Reach the other arm. Stay low, side bending. Now we're gonna go into twisting. So make sure the twist is coming from the upper body, not the lower body. So we're keeping that lower body really still. Start to twist toward that right arm, twist toward the left arm, twist, open, twist, open, twist. Can you reach and look behind you as you twist? Reach, lift, less than 30 seconds. Let's add a little lunge to this. So we'll turn and twist as we open and close. Second position to lunge. Second position to lunge. Lift that back heel as you twist. Good, stay low in those legs. So you're feeling those glutes. Pulling those knees wide. We have 4 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Last part of our warm-up, we're gonna stay lunging toward that right leg. Lift and lower that back heel. Start to feel a stretch in the Achilles tendon all the way down. Now pull the arms back, reach forward, roll through the spine. Finding maybe the beat of the music if you're playing some of your favorite songs. And I like to try to roll through the spine here. Getting really ready for our first balance challenge in 3, 2, 1. Put all of your weight in that front leg. Start to just lift and lower that back leg. Lift and reach, tap. Lift and reach, tap. Pull the belly in, maybe the arms reach forward. This is going to be harder than if your arms were behind you or out to the side. So if you're looking for more of a challenge, find that. Good, for the last 30 seconds, you should be really feeling this right leg holding up that body. For the last 30 seconds, option to lift and lower with that balance. Maybe you have a chair nearby to give you a little assistance, but definitely going to be more challenging. Try to keep those hips toward the floor if you don't use that chair. Now last 15 seconds, maybe you pull the knee toward the arms, round and reach. You can again hold that balance, or last 10 seconds, you can tap that foot on the ground. You have 3, 2, and 1. Standing up tall. Whew, catch your breath for a second, you should need it. Turn the other way, lift and lower that back heel. It's amazing how barre doesn't get a lot of credit for being very difficult, but it definitely can be. It's a great at-home option for a workout. Pull the abdominals in, lift and lower the back heel. 10 seconds, then we go into those balance challenges. In 3, in 2, and 1. Reach the arm, find that balance. Maybe again, you hold that leg on the ground, you just lift and reach, tap, lift and reach, tap. Arms can go wherever feels comfortable. Doesn't strain the neck or the shoulders. And think less about how high you're lifting the leg and more about how much you're reaching the leg behind you. Pulling in those abdominals, reaching, lengthening. You have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maybe hold and little pulses, staying here. Pull those abdominals in. Maybe we start to add that knee to chest. So maybe you're lifting, maybe you're tapping the foot down toward the ground, or we're pulling the knee in, reach, pull in. Find the option that's most intense for you. Last 15 seconds, what feels good for you? What makes you feel successful and strong in this at-home workout? You have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently tap that foot down to the ground. We're gonna do some walk outs. So reach the arms up toward the ceiling, dive the chest forward. As you walk the hands out and find a nice plank position. From your plank position, let's just pike the hips up, walk the hands back to the feet, and stand up nice and tall. If that was too much, you're welcome to stay down on your hands and knees as we go through some of these plank to push-up variations. We're still warming up the shoulders for this part of the workout. So let's find that plank, wherever that might be. I'm gonna show you sideways so we can stay nice and strong, nice and long through the spine. Try not to arch the back, we don't want that. Pull the belly up away from the floor and push your shoulders away from the floor too. Hold that nice plank position, and we're gonna start with tapping one shoulder at a time. We have this one for 40 more seconds. So remember, you have lots of options. Maybe you stay in that high plank. Wide legs are gonna be a little easier than narrow legs. Narrow legs are gonna be a lot harder. Or we can lower the knees down, maybe squeeze those inner thighs together, and make sure your hips are forward and your core is on underneath you. Again, here are your options. Maybe you're in that high plank, maybe you're in that low plank. Another option is even to go one leg down. Last 10 seconds, maybe you do the other side. So you can start building your own at-home workout to start to get ready for the next exercises to come. All right, holding that plank just 30 more seconds. We're gonna go from a plank to a pike. So basically a downward facing dog that you might have seen in a yoga class, dropping the heels down as you go into that pike. Drop the chest, drop the heels. Try to maybe roll through the spine, 10 more seconds. Roll forward, roll back, roll forward, eyes come forward. We're never looking straight in front of ourselves. All right, last minute here. We walk one leg forward, nice low lunge. Reach the arms up, finding kind of our yoga warrior one pose or crescent. Hands come back to frame the foot, step back, come forward, lift up. Continue that movement for the next 40 seconds. Options here are to go low lunge, stand up on the knee, step back from the front leg, stay on the knees, come up. If that's too easy, look for this one. If that's too much for you today, especially for these last 20 seconds, maybe you started with this one and you're like, you know what, I'm not feeling so good about that anymore. You can always lower those knees for the last 20 seconds. Good, really try to stretch out those hip flexors. We're gonna be using them pretty soon. Good, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We should be finishing standing. Just stand up tall from that lunge, shake it all out. Find something next to you, maybe it's a couch, maybe it's a chair. We're gonna do some rotation for the last 30 seconds of this plank series. We can do this from a lifted elevation, so maybe it's a table. Make sure your coffee table doesn't slide away from you in this position, but find that plank position. It can be elevated, or for the last 10 seconds, if you're looking for more intensity, bring it into that full plank. And relax, release. Let's grab our handy dandy weights. So again, if you have hand weights or if you have bottled water, you can use that for your bar workout today. We're going to do our arm work. So we're still maintaining that 1 minute on, 30 seconds of another exercise. So 1 minute, 30 seconds, alternating between an exercise that's a little bit easier and an exercise that's a little bit harder for that 30 seconds. So a little bit more of a 30-second push. So notice how these weights feel in your hands. Try not to grip onto them for dear life. Really try to keep that chest open, core on, in that nice Pilates connection from the rib cage to the hip bones. Let's go ahead and just start with some arm reaches. So in about 10 seconds, we're starting with that 30-second countdown. Palms up toward the ceiling with your weights or your water. Finding that first position with the legs, squeezing the inner thighs, reach the arms forward. So we're presenting the weights in front of us. And be really aware of your posture during this one. Make sure while you're reaching the arms forward, your chest is not leaning back. So we're really squeezing the back of the body. We're trying to keep that spine upright, lengthening up toward the ceiling. Good. Last 10 seconds of this, then we add on to this for a little bit of bicep curling. So the further you reach, the harder this is going to be for those deltoid muscles. And 1. Maybe we add a curl and a reach. So here are your options for the next minute. You can either stay here, and we're going to slowly open up the arms in that bicep curl, or if you want to keep presenting to give yourself a little bit of a break, present and then curl, maybe you do that. Or if you're doing good and for the next 40 seconds you're feeling okay to keep those elbows lifted, that's going to be a harder option. So find what works for you. It challenges you for what you're looking for today in your home workout. So we're working the shoulders, we're working the biceps. We're going to be working the triceps right after this. So you are working them as an opposing muscle group to the bicep right now. Last 15 seconds, you're doing great. Remember, you can always lower those arms, find that present too. You should be feeling fatigued at this point. Amazing how those small dumbbells and weights can start to feel heavy. Last 2 and last 1. Good. Let's reach the arms overhead. You have a couple options now. Bring the bottled water or the weights together and get some tricep extension. Right here, we're going to actually widen out the feet and do a second position plie to an extension. If that's too much on your shoulders, we can take it here. So we bend the elbows, extend, and the chest comes forward slightly. So we're going into that second position with the legs, triceps extending from the arms. Now we're going to hold the bottom of that plie and alternate those arms. Nice and quick, nice and quick. But make sure we're not swinging the weights or the water. We're using them with control. Bend, extend, bend, extend. If we're here, we're doing that option here. Holding that second position plie. It's a minute long, people. It's intense. It's amazing. Stay long through the spine. Again, alternating. There we go. Alternating those weights. Or we have them overhead, extending those arms toward the ceiling. Again, you can always alternate. Try to pull those knees a little wider. Try to get a little bit deeper in that plie. Pull the belly in. Stay tall, stay strong. Last 12 seconds, last 12 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Find that lunge position. So we're going to take that left leg back, right leg forward, and we're going to go into shoulder raises to the side. Bend the elbows. lunge and shoulder raise. Pause at the bottom, pause at the top. 30 seconds only, moving both the legs and the arms. Good, staying tall. We're working the arms and the legs together. A little bit of fun doing both. Good, you have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wind back out into that second position for 1 minute. We have our second position plie to overhead press. Slow and controlled press overhead. As you press overhead, try to push your head through, but pull your tummy back and your rib cage back. Good, we're almost done with our arm segment, you guys. We've done biceps, we've done triceps. We're getting some shoulders, we're getting some overhead work. In 30 seconds, we have to get the lunge on the other side with that shoulder raise. And then we'll finish off with some back work. So we have some flies, we have a couple more balance exercises. You guys are doing great though. If you're still with me, really unique to be teaching to a phone, but I do enjoy that. I hope someone's watching this, someone's with me for this at-home workout. Last 10 seconds, you guys. Stay with it. Squeeze those inner thighs, stand up tall. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find that narrow lunge again. And by narrow, I mean train tracks for the legs, not like we're on a tightrope. And we lunge and fly. Lunge and reach. Bending the elbows is going to be easier than straightening the arms, but you should still have a slight bend in those elbows the whole time. Good. Growing tall toward the ceiling. Last 10 seconds, making sure you're lunging and you're reaching through those arms. You have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last movements before we're done with that arm work. Find a narrow stance with the legs. So I mean really squeeze your inner thighs. Palms come together, reverse fly. Now here's what I want you to do with your back. Push your hips back, pull the belly in, and think less about how far forward can I go. You don't want that, no, no, no. Long spine. We want to just come forward enough that we feel like we're pushing our hips back. Maybe a small pause at the top as you reach those arms out to the side. We can always bend the elbows to make this a little easier, but please know we have some narrow rows with a leg lift after this. So get ready for that. We're not quite done with the back after this exercise. You have 3 total arm exercises, in case you're curious, left in this part of class. Last 10 seconds. Stay with it, stay with it. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we're going into a narrow row. So I want those water bottles or weights to be close to you. Take one leg behind you, find that balance. As you row, you lift that back leg. If that's too much, keep the leg on the floor. Just try to reach it away from the floor, hold it down toward the ground. Squeeze, lower, pull the belly toward the spine. You only have 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Then we got some rotator cuff with some shoulder press. In 3, 2, 1. Find your lunge here for 30 seconds. I want rotator cuff open, up, and press. So we're bringing the palms down, lift up, press up. Here's the front view. Holding your lunge. Just 15 more seconds, then we're going to switch legs. So we're continuing this movement. We're just switching legs. 10 more seconds. Letting those arms fall down. Pull them open. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch legs. Hold that lunge. Continue this guy. And then magically, you're going to end up on the other side. So we're lifting that back leg this time with that row on the other side. You guys are almost there. You're almost done with the arm work. I know, it's intense. It's good. These weights are feeling really heavy, even though they shouldn't feel that heavy, because we're working those shoulders, triceps, biceps. For 4, 3, 2, time for that back, round 2. Narrow stance with those water bottles. Lift and lower that back leg as the water bottles come up. Whoop. Loosen that balance a little bit. If you really feel like you're falling and you can't seem to catch your balance very much, it might be because your core is not on, or you're not really focused on what you're doing. So bring your attention to the movement, to the muscles that are working. Try to avoid the distractions that I know can be common at home. And let's relax. We're done with the water bottles and the weights. set them off to the side. We're moving into some more leg-driven movements. So while I do love to add upper body movements to our leg movements as well, we are going to focus on just the legs for the next few minutes or so. Our first track is going to be first position. So find something that you can hold on to or gently put your hand on for that support. And again, it doesn't have to be super high, but something that's hopefully waist height or higher. So countertop or the top of a chair. This one would work, but I feel like I'm going to use it for our sideline series because of the height that I can really feel like I'm getting almost into a side plank on. That's coming up after this. So find something that's decently high. In 10 seconds, we're starting with just tendus. So what a tendu is, we're in that first position and we're just brushing our toe on the floor. I want you to brush to the front, brush to the side. We're really working on reaching through the toes. You have 30 seconds of this. And then the movement should be squeezing the inner thighs together. So our foot is brushing along the carpet or brushing along our hardwood floor or tile or whatever we might be working on today. And we're finding that brush, we're finding that reach. 10 more seconds. Getting ready to move into a passe and then a reach with that leg. So now our leg's going to pull out to the side. So we're going to open up the hip, passe, reach, come back down. Passe, reach, come back down. Now be aware of your posture. It's really easy to start to lean to one side. Try to keep your chest lifted. Passe, reach. Your core has to work really hard to make this happen. And the hip flexor has to work really hard, which is important because we need our hip flexors to kick soccer balls and to climb up stairs and to run really fast. They're really important muscles. Good. Last 30 seconds of this minute, I want us to go into a Ronda Jump. So you're going to bend that standing leg and sweep that leg that's down on the ground behind you. So we're really working the back of the leg now, brushing the foot along the floor. Try to keep the chest lifted for this one. Now let's add the both together. Passe, reach, Ronda Jump. Passe, reach, Ronda Jump. You have 3, 2, and 1. Let's go to the other side. So if you're in your house, all you have to do is turn around, but I feel like that's kind of rude, so I'm going to keep my vision towards you today, starting with that tendu. Tendu on that other side. So find something that you can put your hands on. Here's a version where it's just kind of there. You shouldn't use a bar holding on for dear life. It should just kind of be there for a little bit of assistance. Good. Finishing up those tendus in 3, 2, and 1. Now let's brush the leg up the inner thigh, extend and reach. Passe and extend that leg. Good. Passe and reach. Try to point through your toes and think about that length. In 20 seconds, we go to the Ronda Jump, or that fancy name for just floating the leg across the floor in a circle. Whew, starting to feel it in my core. Really stand up tall in that leg that's supporting you. You have 3, 2, and 1. Go into that Ronda Jump. So first position, bend the knee of the standing leg that's toward whatever you're holding onto or toward the bar, and find that little mini squat as you brush the leg behind you. Make sure the knee is tracking over the middle of the foot. Good, of that standing leg. Now for the last 10 seconds, can we reach and Ronda Jump? Pull up, reach, and Ronda Jump. You have 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo! Working hard. Now from our first position, I want us to reach the outside arm up, tip forward a little bit, and then stand back up. So we're moving from the hip that's supporting underneath us. We're still coming back to that first position, lean, and then stand up tall. So we're moving to what we call arabesque, and then standing up tall. Last 10 seconds, then we're gonna add on to this. Standing leg, if you're really reaching up toward the ceiling, should be feeling this. Try to keep those hips toward your couch or whatever you're holding on to. Now we're going to reach, pull the knee in, extend, stand up. Lengthen, pull in, extend, stand up. Returning to that first position every time. Lengthen, tip over. You're kind of like a little teapot. Lengthening forward. I don't know about you, but I am feeling this in my standing leg quite a lot. Last 30 seconds, we go to the other side again. We finish up this last kind of leaning series, and then we go into our second position work. Stand up tall. You got it, ladies and gentlemen. 20 more seconds. Round and reach. And yes, I said gentlemen, barre is not just for the ladies. My normal barre class at Pro, I have like 4 or 5 guys who come to my class. They play tennis, they play all kinds of things. Last 10 seconds. You have 4, 3, my goodness, 2, and 1. My standing leg was feeling that. Let's come to the other side. Find that first position. Start with just the lean. Oh, we'll get a break after this, I promise. We'll get to stretch out those outer thighs because I know you're feeling this. Extend back up, tip forward, extend back up, tip and reach. Think about that brush and reach. Good. Arm might be coming with you, getting ready for that grounding of the spine, pulling the knee in toward the hand. Good. Now let's add it here. We have 1 minute here. Extend, pull in and round, reach, stand up. 1 minute here. Round, reach, stand up. Now notice how this chair was wobbling. It's because I realized I was holding on for dear life. So as soon as you start to work hard, sometimes you start to notice that you're really starting to grip onto something really hard. So pay attention to the tension you're building in your body. Make sure we're working our body, but we're not in pain or any like major discomfort. And I didn't say this disclaimer before we started, but take breaks whenever you need to. Extend that leg. Last 20 seconds. You're doing great. I'm sure you are. Those hips are still square with each other. Last 10 seconds. Light hold on whatever you're holding on to. 5, 4, pull in, 3, 2, 1, and stand up tall. So we're going to kind of ditch the bar or the furniture for a little bit, finding our second position, reaching the arms down and standing up. Just kind of moving through the body a little bit. Good. And we're going to go into some stretches. So let's stand up in the nice and tall. Maybe we grab onto something, maybe we don't. Flex the knee or bend the knee, stand up tall. Take it to the other side. Stand up. This is your stretching moment as we move into our second position. Plie, come up. Nice big stretch. All right, going into a curtsy lunge. So find whatever you want to hold on to. You don't absolutely have to hold on to anything here. Find that tall spine. Hide that back leg behind the front leg, and there's your curtsy lunge. So it doesn't have to be way over here, and just come down and up. The back heel should be lifted. Hands can be on the waist or the hips. Back heel is lifted, and the front toes, you should be able to wiggle those. So we're feeling the work in this glute of that front leg. Standing up nice and tall, squeezing everything together, and we're gonna move from our curtsy lunge into a second position. So make sure you have plenty of room to the side of you as you step that back leg out in 10 seconds. So let's get ready for that. Let's start to move the arms, reach, lower, come up, in 3, in 2, in 1, we step out, second position, back to your curtsy, second position, back to your curtsy. Now even though this isn't an arm track, we could be working the arms quite a bit here. So the more you create more intention with the arm movements you're doing, the more you're going to find that you're working them. Last 10 seconds. Good, land soft as you go into that second position. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your second position again. Step the opposite leg behind you. Find that nice curtsy lunge and bend the knees. Stand up tall. So we kind of want to identify, take our time, identifying where a nice position is for our feet, for our hips, so that it's not, we're not in pain. We shouldn't be feeling pain. Good, as we're doing this, maybe we add the arms. Should feel good on your body. Bend and reach. Last 30 seconds. Good. And then we go into our 30-second burst of that curtsy lunge into that second position, plie. Stand up tall. Last 10 seconds. Move those arms, create resistance. I love one of our instructors, Karen. She always says, pretend like you're moving your arms through water. So create that resistance in your mind and your muscles will follow. In 3, 2, 1, we step out in that second position. We go back into our curtsy. Second and curtsy. Stay low in the legs. Stay tall in the chest. Landing soft. Last 15 seconds, we're pulling the knees wide on that second position plie. Notice where you're landing so that your feet are landing just right beside each other. Good, you have 3, 2, 1. Hold your second position, open up the arms. We lunge and open. We lunge and open. Turn and reach, lunge and open. Just 1 minute, we're gonna burn out the legs a little bit more, and then we go into some side lying movements. Stay low in the legs, 45 seconds. Maybe we're starting to sweat a little bit. Might have to open up one of those bottles of water for a little drink. We won't need them anymore, so we can keep drinking that water. Last 30 seconds. Doesn't matter if they get lighter now. 25. Pull the knees wide. 20 seconds. Woo! You can go a little faster if you want to build up the intensity a little bit, but make sure you're staying low in those legs. And even if your heart rate doesn't get up super high, your legs are working really hard, and they are calorie burning machines. You have 3, 2, and 1. Stand up tall. Find a side lying position. As I said earlier, I'm going to use this lower chair. You could always use this upper chair, but basically, it's finding a position where you're in a plank, but you're on your side. So our side lying track will start in about 15 seconds. So feel free to grab some water. I'm gonna go lower today. So I'm gonna walk the feet out into that position where I feel like I'm working the side of my body. I might even lift up to here, because I feel like this is a little too low. But from our 1 minute time mark, I want us to just start lifting and lowering the leg. So think again about reaching the leg really long. Pull the belly in. You're standing tall on that leg that's below you. Slight bend in the knees of that standing leg. And now we're gonna add on to this. So we're going to lift the leg up, keeping the knee really high. I want you to bend the knee, extend, lower down. Now your hand can be on your waist, and I want you to pay attention to your hip. Try not to let it fall forward as you bend the knee. And also, try not to let your knee come forward as you bend the knee. That's gonna recruit some muscles in the back of the leg that we're looking for. Good, so keep the knee back, behind, so around your hips, doesn't have to be behind your hips. And then you can look at your leg, or you can look ahead, just make sure your head isn't falling down. Your head is lifted in line with your spine. Good, in 2, 1, we're going to hold here, bend the knee, and now little lifts for 30 seconds. We call this a burnout in barre. So what we're doing is we're pulling the knee back, and we're doing little pulses, lifting and lowering. Whew! And it's like the room just got like 60 degrees warmer when you do this. Good, last 10 seconds. Can you pull the foot back just a little bit further? You have 5, 4, I'm shaking a little bit. If you're shaking, you're not alone. I'm right with you. And relax. Let's take it to the other side. So standing tall with the other side, lengthen the leg out to the side. And remember, the best way to modify this is going to be to maybe not lift so high. It's about reaching from that leg. Now, if you start to feel right here, like, holy moly, my standing leg is working extremely hard. It feels like it's working harder than my leg that's lifting. That's perfectly normal. Let's go ahead and add, for the last 30 seconds of this minute, that bend at the top. So pull the knee back, extend and bend. We're starting to wake up the back of the leg. We're starting to wake up the hamstrings, the glutes. Last 20 seconds. Shoulders stay away from those ears. Last 10 seconds. You know what's coming, so get ready for it and push through it. You got this. As long as you don't feel any pain, we're good. Slight bend in that standing knee. Remember, you can always lift up taller, and that'll help with that effort. Pull the knee back. Let's go into those little pulses, little lifts, little pulses. You got this. Should not feel this in your low back. You should be feeling this only in that glute, maybe the hamstring. Keep that core strong. Last 15 seconds. Keep pulling back a little more, a little deeper. Last 10 seconds. I got you, I promise. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stand up tall, relax, quick stretch. You've earned your stretch. I'm gonna give you a whole minute to stretch out what you worked. You should be feeling that movement. These are our glutes. Very important muscles to standing upright, nice and tall. We wanna have good posture, right? For the future, maybe roll through your ankles a little bit. We're moving into chair now. So chair track is literally about imagining like you're sitting into a chair. So we're going to use, I'm gonna use this taller chair today. I might kind of pull it toward me a little bit. I'm gonna use this taller chair today. And a taller chair is going to be better, or a taller countertop is going to be better. So maybe if you're watching this on your phone or your tablet, you can take it with you to another room that might have a taller, pretty stable item to hold on to. If you don't have something like that, you can always use, like I said, a counter. It doesn't have to be a chair. So we're going to start with parallel position with the legs. And if you really want to get your inner thighs working harder, you can put a pillow between those legs. We're just going to start with sitting back. So notice my knees are coming forward, but it's not our plie where we're up like this. It's more of a squat. Our chest comes forward a little bit, but try not to dive your head forward. We want to keep our chest or our spine in neutral, so everything is moving together. Good. Let's start with just pressing the hips back. You have 10 seconds of just these parallel squats. So if you were to see the front view, this is what you're seeing. Hips are going back. Now we're going to add rolling through the feet. So it looks like this. Bend the knees, lift the heels, stand up, lower down. Bend the knees, lift the heels, stand up, lower down. Bend, lift, up, lower, with control. If that starts to bother your knees, hips, or ankles in any way, try the pillow first, and then if that doesn't work or help you engage the muscles that need to be on to align those joints, then you can just stop doing it. Just keep that squat going. You're getting plenty of good work with that squat. Bend the knees. If you're doing those, keep up with that. Good. Rolling through the feet. If you'd like, we're almost done with that minute. You have about 15 seconds left. Rolling through those feet. Breathing. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to take this into a lunge. So we step that back leg behind us, find that tall lunge, and then make sure you have enough distance from your couch or your chair or your table. So we're going to lift up, reach toward that table or couch, come back down in that lunge. Lift, reach, lunge. So I want it to look like this. Land and lift. Land and lift. Reaching behind you. You have less than 10 seconds. Less than 10 seconds. And then we go back into that squat. This time, option to stay here in that squat or go into a releve and keep squatting. Hips go back, staying here. Maybe you have that nice pillow between your legs. And right here, we're actually gonna add some inner thigh work. So you're going to squat back, pull the knees together, come back to neutral, come back up. Down, in, out, and up. So if you have something between your legs, you have that pillow between your legs. You don't have to have it, you can still engage those inner thighs without it. Then you can put it between those legs, to that squeeze. Good. But then you can't really use it for the lunge, so you don't have to. Good, lower down. This is where, when you're on your toes like this, having something to hold on to can be nice. And if you haven't noticed, I'm shaking just a little bit. Now let's hold for the last 10 seconds, lower and lift. Stay in that half squat. Lower and lift. Burn out those calves just for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step that leg that we haven't lunged with yet. Back, lift and reach. Lunge, lift and reach. 30 seconds here. Lift and reach. Remember, you can always look for something a little lower. This one might be better. Yeah, this lunge, lift, and reach might be better for something a little bit lower to hold on to. That's what's so nice about all these different household items to use. Last 10 seconds, you guys. We're almost done with chair. You have 3, 2, and 1. You are done with chair. It is time to come down to the floor and get some core work in on the floor. So we're going to go ahead and actually start in a seated position. I like a quadruped position. Hands and knees. So hands and knees are on the ground, and I want you to start with just lengthening the spine and then rounding the spine. Lengthen and round. And I am nervous that you can't see my face. So I'm gonna turn this a little bit so you can see me a little bit better. There we go. Round and extend for your cat-cow. 20 more seconds of this, just getting that spine opened up. It tends to kind of lock up on us when we give all of those extensions and rounds and bends. Let's get a little side bending action, 10 seconds. And we're going into a donkey lift first. So we're gonna do a little donkey kick up. Pretend like you're holding on to something. You can grab the water bottle or a hand weight, put it behind your knee or a ball. If you have a little, like, small ball, lift that leg up toward the ceiling, lower it down halfway. Lift and press. Now watch that your belly's pulling in and you're not arching your spine. You're trying to keep that hip down. Little lifts. Good. Straighten up those arms. Press equally into both hands. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lower that knee down. We're gonna sit back for a second, a little bit of a stretch. Good, and then I want you to find a side plank. So if you were lifting, I was lifting my left leg, find a side plank on your right leg. From that side plank, I'm gonna lean out a little bit, lift and lower the outside leg. Knee can be down, so I lifted my left leg, my right knee is down, or we can do it from that full plank. Lift and lower, but you guys have 30 more seconds, so choose wisely on your movement of choice. So if you can't see my foot back here, it is lifting and lowering from that plank position. You can always just hold if you're starting to feel it. I'm shaking down here in the bottom. So last 15 seconds, we get ready for the other side. Hang in there. I know we're feeling it. We're going into the donkey kicks on the other side. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna turn sideways again. Other direction, you don't have to flip around like I did. But we're taking the other leg back now. So I had my left leg up earlier. Now I'm lifting my right leg, pressing those hands equally into the floor. For 30 seconds, we're here. 15 seconds to go. Getting ready for that side leg lift in that side plank for 1 minute. So it's only for 1 minute. What can you do for 1 minute? Decide right now. Should be the same or similar to what you did on the other side. In 3, 2, and 1, find that side plank. Here we are. Lift and lower in that side plank. Now, if this side plank is even still too much for you, you could use the couch a little bit. It's gonna shorten your range of motion of lifting that hip. You can use a coffee table or something nice and low to the ground. But we are here for a full minute. A full minute of work here. Keep squeezing that glute as you lift the leg up toward the ceiling. This is our last part of this quadruped series before we come to our backs for some glute bridging. And then we're gonna go into our ab series with a lot of Pilates elements to it. Last 20 seconds. Stay here. Really watch that shoulder. Notice how I had to pull my shoulder back. I was losing focus. I'm starting to get tired. I might be tiring you out too, and that's okay. Last 5, 4, little lifts, 3, 2, and 1. Lower everything back down. Okay, from your back, so we're gonna go ahead and lower down into a nice supine position. For our 30-second interval, I just want you to start with bridges. So when you lift the hips, think about opening up the chest. And let's just start with lifting the hips in one unit, coming back down. Lift those hips back up, come back down slowly. Lift those hips back up, slowly come back down. Getting ready for our minute of work, which is coming up, it's right now. So we're going to try and lift one leg up toward the ceiling. Knee can stay bent as we lift and lower those hips. Leg can be straight. First 30 seconds on one leg, and then we're gonna do the second 30 seconds on the other leg. Now notice if we wanna progress a little bit, we can lower and lift that leg. Lift, lower, and lift that leg. Find what works for you. You have 5 more seconds. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Other leg. So let's start with just maybe lifting. Again, knee can be bent, or pressing that heel up toward the ceiling. Maybe you lift, lower, lift, come back down, lift, reach through the heel, come back up, lower down. Last 30 seconds of that minute. Then we're gonna practice our hip rolls. a little different than that hip bridge. Let me check our time. Keep going. Oh, it's time. I read the clock's mind. Roll the spine up. This time, I want you to think about one vertebra at a time. So we start with the rib cage once we get to the top, the low back, the lower tailbone area, then the sacrum, and then the tailbone, and then we come back down. So all the way up. Exhales are going to be huge here. Now watch your knees. A lot of people, as they start to roll down and up, their legs start to open up wide because their inner thighs are not turning on. That 30 seconds is already over. So let's sit up. Let's grab one leg. Use that leg for some leverage to sit up nice and tall. All right, my feet are underneath the couch, but we can sit up tall. Make sure you have enough room behind you for half rollbacks. So here's the deal. The six-pack muscles, the muscles in the front of the body, get all the attention. All they do is flex the spine. So all they do is make you look more like this. No one wants to walk around like that. I want to look like this. I want to look tall. I want to look strong. I want to look like moving is effortless, and I want to feel that way as well. Maybe you do too. I hope you do too. So let's work the muscles that wrap around our spine that are called our transverse abdominis, our obliques that sit like up here, and they help us rotate, flex, side bend, and the transverse abdominis just supports us. So to engage those muscles, it's not so much about how far we can lean back. I want it to be more on this half roll back about how much you can squeeze those deep abdominals, not rounding through your chest, but feeling the deep abdominals contract. Inhale, sit up tall. So breath is really huge here. Exhale, scoop round from here, from the rib cage and the hips, and sit up tall. Again, a pillow can be really helpful, or just squeeze your legs together so that you're really working your inner thighs. 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna roll halfway back, squeeze, pull the abdominals in, wrap everything. Keep squeezing here. Try to relax your hip flexors as much as you can, and twist. Inhale, center, exhale, twist. So we're at a slight angle, and every time we twist, first watch your knees, make sure you're not shifting side to side with your hips, and also make sure you feel like you're wringing out a dish rag with your abdominals. Last 30 seconds. Feel that wrapping, feel that contracting. Last 25 seconds. 20 seconds. We roll all the way down in 14 seconds. Focus on that breath. Keep your chin off your chest. Watch those knees. 3, 2, 1, and relax. So I'm going to turn to the side so I have enough room, but we want to go into our roll up next. Roll toward the feet. Try to get a little stretch. If you can't quite make it to your feet, you could grab, I have a towel here, surprise. You can grab that towel and use that towel to help you reach forward, or use it for some stretching as well. Now let's roll all the way onto our back. Tucking the tailbone, rolling all the way down. Now, as we roll up, what tends to happen is we want to use some momentum, so we throw ourselves up. Try to take your time. Try to rock your arms down, nod the chin, pull the belly in. We're going to do 1 minute of roll-ups. Reach toward the feet. Inhale to sit up. Exhale. Watch those shoulders. My shoulders like to lift up toward my ears, and then roll down. If you're still having trouble, then you can reach for one leg, use it for a little bit of a leverage, and lift yourself up with control. And we'll get a lot of work from that rolling down slowly with control. You guys have 25 more seconds, and these are not about speed. It's slow and control on that roll up. And if you're really struggling with this, I highly recommend trying to see a private Pilates instructor, because your muscles should be strong enough for you to at least sit up all the way on your own without using anything else. Kind of like for safety. If you ever fall, you want to be able to get up. Slowly roll up for this last one. Let's get a quick saw. So start another Pilates movement. Flex the feet, widen out your legs about hip distance apart. Exhale for 30 seconds. We're going to twist toward one leg. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist. Feel that wringing of a dish rag out. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist, round the spine. Pull the belly in. You should feel like as you're reaching, your spine is reaching back the other way. Sit up tall. Last 3, 2, and 1. Little belly buster series for you guys. So grab onto the knees, roll on back onto your back, pull one knee into your chest, single thigh stretch. You're gonna lift your head and shoulders, inhale here, exhale, switch. Now pull that thigh back as far as you can. Exhale, switch. If it's too much for your head and shoulders to stay upright, you can always lower back down, but think about pulling the belly toward the floor. We're reaching, you guys have 30 seconds. Really try to bring the elbows wide. Try to keep the chin off your chest. So you have like, if you could fit like a grapefruit or even an orange, a pretty good sized orange under your chin. That's what we're looking for. You're kind of looking at your thighs. You have 15 seconds, guys. Feel free to take breaks whenever you need to. Hands grab onto both legs in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs come together into that nice small ball. Double leg stretch. We inhale, reach the arms and the legs. Exhale, bring everything in. Arms and legs can go up to the ceiling, and we can always keep the head and shoulders down. Only 30 seconds of this. Definitely going to be more challenging than that single thigh stretch as we do that double leg stretch. Inhale like you're filling your lungs with air. Exhale, let it all out. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Quick little break. Legs rock side to side. All right, legs go up toward the ceiling. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Use your arms for control as you lower your legs to one side. Only go as far as you can keep those shoulders down. Lower them to the other side. And only go as far as you know you can use your abdominals to come all the way back up. So try to relax through your neck, your jaw, but really squeeze your inner thighs together. Keep going. You have less than 24 seconds. Almost there. Last twisting exercise. We have one more flexing exercise. Just to finish on a grand finale for the core, we're gonna do the 100 for 30 seconds, and then we're gonna go into our extension work. You're still moving, you're still doing that twist. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quick little break. Feel free to do a little bridging if you want. Now nod the chin. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up. Lift one leg into tabletop option. You can always keep those feet down and start to lift both legs up. Flutter those arms like you're hitting water. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. You only have 15 seconds left. Inhale and exhale. Squeeze those inner thighs together even more. And you have 3, 2, 1, and relax. Oh, we're almost there. We're gonna transition into our extension work. Transitioning into extension work. So we're going to go ahead and lower ourselves down onto our tummies. So once you lay on your tummy, and I'm going to stop our timer, this won't be about time. Stopping our timer. Once you're on your belly, we only have 2 more exercises till you're done with your barre class today. Once we're on our tummy, I want you to think about engaging your low belly. So if you don't quite want to lay on your floor today, totally fine. You can always use that towel that I used earlier. Kind of fold it up under your face, maybe to dab your sweat too. But we're going to lower our belly on the floor. So I want you to lower your head on the floor. Look like this. I don't want to put my head on the floor and talk to you like that because you won't understand me. So once you find that position on your belly, I want you to relax your head and neck and your shoulders. So you should be here. And then really start to think about pulling your belly away from the floor. And how I like to think about it is it's like it's kind of silly, but it's a good visual. It's like you have gone to a Mexican restaurant or a nice Italian restaurant and eaten a lot of food and you feel really full, but you're trying to like hold it in. You're trying to like pull it in. So that's how you should be pulling your belly away from the floor. So it's not just coming from pulling up from underneath here, it's coming from all sides. So it's coming from the outside of the hips, the waist, and then at the same time, as you pull the belly in, I want 5 of these, 5 lifts of the chest. So Don't think about the head lifting up. We can all lift our heads. It's about lifting the shoulders up and lower back down. And again, keep going because I know you can't hear me. As you lift up, it should be about that length as you reach and extend through the spine. Good. Get 3 more of those. So we're lifting up. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Feel that expansion. This is our swan or swan prep, as we call it. If it's way too hard with your hands on your forehead, which is totally fine, put your hands on the ground. And again, make sure you're not looking up at the ceiling. You're lifting from here. It's not about how high you go. Let's do 2 more actually. And I want you to keep your toes on the ground. Keep your feet heavy. I know you can't see my feet. We're gonna get them involved in a second. 1 more round just like that. Lifting, keeping your feet down and lower down. Now take a little break, bend your knees and windshield wiper them side to side. Quick little windshield wipers. Okay, time for swimming. So make sure you have plenty of room. I'm kind of getting tight over here, trying to lay long. But we have 2 options for swimming. Arms and legs, we can flutter and swim this way, or we can go in a quadruped position and we can reach opposite arm, opposite leg, reaches, opposite arm, opposite leg. Woo. Watch out for my couches. So find what works for you. Make sure you have a little more room than I do. And let's just get 5 of those. So again, opposite arm, opposite leg, reaching, or we can swim, so we can be here. As you swim, when you're going quick, make sure you can breathe. You should be able to breathe because your core is engaged. Let's do 3 more. And then after your last one, I want you to take a big inhale and then exhale, lower yourself back into child's pose. So knees go wide, put your toes on the floor, and then press your hips back for that child's pose. And just stay here for a moment. I'm gonna sit up so you can hear me. But I want you to find that child's pose, close your eyes, inhale deeply into your lungs, and think about how that oxygen feels as it comes into those lungs. And then as you lay there and breathe in that child's pose, I want you to just have some gratitude for having the energy and the motivation to get in your at-home workout with me today. I am so appreciative of you watching and tuning in and moving along with me. And then you should be so happy that you accomplished something today in your own home. Now let's walk our hands over to one side. So you're still in that child's pose. Walk your hands over to one side. Find that nice child's pose with your arms reaching to one side, and continue that breathing pattern where you're slowing down your breath. You're feeling that expansion. And then walk your hands over to the other side. So hands are maybe over here in that child's pose. Walk the hands over to the other side. Head relaxes, face relaxes. Maybe your eyes are closed and you're just breathing here. On your next inhale, walk your hands back to center and find quadruped position. Let's finish with rounding and extending through the spine. So we're gonna go into that nice cat as you exhale. Inhale, drop the belly, look forward for that cow. Exhale, should feel good on the spine. You can even move the body a little bit. Lifting and pressing forward, rounding and pushing back. Really expand through your hands and your fingertips. Good. Now take one leg forward. If the couch is close by or a chair is close by, you can always use that for kind of, instead of like a yoga block, use it for a little bit of height so you have something, you bring the floor closer to you. Starting with a nice hip flexor stretch, you can either stay here in this low lunge, or we can twist toward that front leg, maybe hook the elbow on the knee. Doesn't matter which leg is forward, we'll get the other side. And try to look behind you. Untuck the back toes. And then press your hips back, hands on a couch or on the floor to go into that nice hamstring stretch. So this is kind of our half pyramid pose. We're kneeling down. Good, take that knee forward again. Now, lifting the back toes, lift up the back knee, and find a wide forward fold. So widen out the legs, press through the outside of the feet. Let your chest just hang forward, little sway side to side. feeling a stretch in the inner thighs, the outer thighs, and the hamstrings. On your next exhale, walk your hands over to the other side, so the leg that you haven't had forward yet. Find a couch if you have another one next to you, and then lower the hips down, or you could just go back to the same side and switch sides. So find whatever works for you and whatever space you're in right now. Maybe you just hold this hip flexor stretch. Maybe you find that twist that we did on the other side as an option. Good, bring the hands to the floor, tuck the toes, lift the knee, back to that wide forward fold. And let's start to heel toe those feet together. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot that extension on the other leg. So extend that other leg, find that stretch before we stand up. Now feel free to watch some of our yoga videos as well, so that you can get your nice full stretch on after such an intense workout. Lift the back knee, lower down into that wide forward fold, sway side to side. Start to bend the knees softly and roll the spine all the way up. Head comes up last. Get a couple shoulder rolls. Standing up nice and tall. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling. Slide your arms up toward the ceiling, side bending, and then reach both arms up toward the ceiling. Pull the belly in, lift the chest, and then just let everything go. Just give yourself a hand for, again, just taking the time today to do something for you and your body. You should be so proud of yourself. Thank you again for joining me. My name is Staci, and I can't wait to see you at my next barre class at Pro Sports Club.